Nobody volunteers to go next. Slow day today. Then I arbitrarily choose MC to go second.
Fair enough. Yeah, controller. Okay. Marshmallow roast. I was a picky eater when I was young. The veggies couldn't touch the meat. Everything had to be separate. I wouldn't eat all sorts of things, like onions or mayonnaise. If my food had even touched an onion, I'd know. But then one day, I got a stick and a marshmallow and a fire. I should have hated it. A stick touching my food and a smoky open fire. But it was delicious. So now I don't mind onions so much.
I remember you being a really picky eater back when we were kids. Was it really marshmallow was on a stick that made you less picky?
It really was. I had them and they were good. And I didn't realize it at the time, but then later, when I was being picky again, my dad said, "Hey, you ate stuff off a stick from the woods and you won't eat this." And at first I was like, no, that's different. But then I realized that it really wasn't different, and I started loosening up about what I would eat. Which has thankfully made it a lot easier to eat stuff. And hopefully it made me a little more pleasant to be around.
You're always pleasant to be around. Hey, no flirting in the literature club. Seriously, I feel like that's half of what goes on in here these days. Anyway, I thought the poem was cute. A little loose on the construction, but it got its point across very well, and that's what counts. Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good classic MC poem. Another one that's sort of about growing up again. But we all have our favorite themes to write about, don't we? I'm sure Monica's will be filled with all kinds of existential angst of some sort.
Whereas yours will be facially kind of cute seeming, but really have a sharp point to it.
Well, usually, yeah, but maybe not this time. This time I think it's kind of different. But anyway, we're talking about your poem right now. What about you, Yuri? You got any feedback? Oh, hi, Mazina. Sup, Teach? Work is up. You guys keep doing what you're doing, don't mind me. So, Yuri, your thoughts on MC's poem? Oh, well, like you said, I think it could do with more structure. It's very close to just free prose. But also you said, I think that, even so, it does a wonderful job conveying its feelings. It has many vivid images, which I like a lot, so I think the poem is a success. Oh, right then. Still no volunteers. Well, I guess I'll take it there then. It's full of existential angst, as Natsuki predicted.
Angst.
Eat to live. I have to eat to live. I have to destroy to eat, constantly converting life to death and ashes, or else I myself will fade away. What am I? Oh, sorry, no, that wasn't a riddle. A pleasure to meet you. My name is Monica. Very short, but very effective. Also very pointed, much like a Natsuki poem. I like it. Yeah, solid. Sometimes brevity is the best idea. This poem is exactly as long as it needs to be. It sets up real quick, gets you thinking about fire. And then bam, the hook. Very nice, very nice. Thanks, Natsuki.
Natsuki nods happily. How we get to the point is cool, but I really like the point itself. I think it's neat how it points out that we are really parallel to fire. The title gets across the idea really well. Everything we do, even the really neat stuff, had to be fueled by something dying. Makes you think.
Yeah, but I wanted to agree with Yuri and Natsuki that I really like how short it is and how that contributes to it. Normally it's really hard to write a short poem. It's hard to get across what you're feeling. But when you can do it, it's super effective. Because I think short things are the easiest to read and understand. So when you write something in short that still gets across the message, you're doing the reader a big favor. I should probably write shorter poems. Your poems are great all the time, Yuri. Speaking of, why don't you show us yours? Okay, here goes.
Okay.
Warm. I think back in the caveman days, we learned that cold was loneliness. Cold meant that there was no one near to snuggle with. But warm meant friendship and love and community. Warm meant that even though it was cold outside, it was warm in your heart. So then we had fire. The first warm that wasn't someone else. It was a good friend. Do you think there were lonely people sat all day with the fire, trying to be its friend, trying to give back warmth? Huh. So, like the idea is, fire was the first substitute human contact for lonely humans. Yeah, something like that. It's one of those parasocial relationships. Parasocial relationships.
Oh, that's what you were saying.
Yeah, those. Well, as the club's leading expert on parasocial relationships. Wait, I'm sorry, I need to know something. Sayori, what on earth did you get from parasocial to parasutial? How did you come to think that was the word? Well, it's just that when I first heard it, I thought it was parasutial. That's what it sounded like. And it made sense. It's like the relationship you have that bails you out when you don't have real ones. So you don't fall down into total isolation.
That makes no sense.
It rescues you. A parasutial relationship. I see. Actually, that has a certain charm to it. I almost prefer Sayori's version.
Yeah, Sayori's version of words, or versions of words do have a certain charm to them. I liked the poem a lot. I like how the main idea of it is more just complex and thought-provoking rather than really aggressive. Sayori's not trying to make a huge point of anything. It's more like an interesting idle thought she had, in poem form. I think that's neat.
Kinda sad though. Even in the Stone Age, fire was the first waifu. Man, that's just depressing. That's because I'm depressing. That was a joke. I know, Sayori. I giggled a little. Anyway, guess it's about time for me to wrap up this show. Just a little bit.
Got it.
Tiny little candle flame slicks back and forth again. It looks so cheerful, so secure. Though you may be poor, you feel enriched. I just want to touch it. I grab it in my hand and take it with me in my pocket throughout the land. I just want to touch it just a little bit. But I know if I touch it, it's gonna hurt like shit. Very effective. Almost a sad poem, really. And again, someone in a very strange relationship with fire. Unless it's a metaphor for something. Yeah, probably. Or at least it's not as literal as Sayori's fire, I guess. For some reason, this poem really resonates. Like, I feel like I've had this exact feeling. Even though I can't really describe what it is. Just some kind of reluctance I can't really get at. Yeah, it sounds like you do get it. In a week where most of us went very prosy, this one had a semblance of structure to it, which I appreciate. I liked the soft rhyming, it was very comfortable feeling, while at the same time making the poem a bit higher impact.
Definitely. I know I got kind of lazy with rhyme schemes and structure too this week, but Natsuki's poem is good motivation for putting in the effort to have at least a little.
Alright, good poems, everyone. Let's get set up for emails and then we'll call it a day. Alright, let's pull up the first one.
What's your favorite coffee?
My favorite coffee, as in me, Monica. Well, I guess it doesn't matter much what you mean. I'm basically the only club member who drinks coffee. But I don't really drink it much. I greatly prefer tea.
Oh, it's kind of funny though. This came up just the other day because I was posting one of my interview club posts and I had referenced to Monica referring to coffee as mocha, and someone asked and I was like, well, Monica talks about coffee in Act 3 and she even says that she would wish that Yuri would make it sometimes instead of tea. Just funny little trivia there. Actually, I've started drinking coffee recently. It gives me a lot of energy in the morning, which I need to keep up with Sayori.
I drink immense amounts of coffee daily. Unhealthy, addictive amounts of coffee. 2 pots worth most days. That's actually enough to be pretty concerning. I know, I'm trying to cut it back. But it does mean I've tried a bunch of different coffees. I like Ethiopian night roasts the best. They're really easy to drink and they taste balanced the best with cream and sugar. Plus, light roasts have the most caffeine. So yeah, there you go. I think I said it before, but I prefer dark roasts, which I generally drink black. I like the bitter, smoky taste, but I have to be in the right mood for it.
So I really like nut blend coffees. The first coffee I ever had where I actually liked it was a hazelnut blend. So recently I've been trying other ones, and they're all pretty good. Pecan and walnut coffees are good too. And maple walnut coffee, that has to be my absolute favorite. It is so super sweet and delicious.
Well, there you have it, emailer. On to the next one.
I'm glad I'm not addicted to coffee. Hey, I am back with some poetry and 259 hours in DDLC mods or 262 hours. Hope you'll enjoy. Sorry for any bad grammar. Bottles. I wanted a few bottles and filled them with emotions, but my emotions were black and the bottles were never found. I kept bottling my emotions, more and more bottles, until one of them broke. It caused me to choke. It caused a chain reaction. It made me catch them in desperation. I caught a few, while other ones flew. I tried bottling my emotions, but it ended up bottling myself. This poem was inspired, as you probably guessed, by Sayori's. I don't know if it's Sayori's or Sayori's. I literally have no clue. Well, it would be Sayori apostrophe S for possession. This is just like by multiple Sayoris.
So yeah, this week we only have 4 emails. 2 of them are short, but 2 of them are very long, which is why only 4. Anyway, yeah, poem for you, Sayori. That's good, but I can't help but feel that you've been trapped by the analogy of my original poem. It's Sayori's, by the way. But yeah, my poem was all about preserving anything positive I could for the sake of my friends. Yours is a bit different from that, and I think you would have benefit from a new analogy. I'd try writing a poem about the same thing with an original concept and see where you end up.
Also, I have a few questions. For Yuri, have you considered learning how to throw a knife? I am curious. That skill would be useful when in dangerous situations. Although, if people knew that, then if someone got hurt, you probably would be the first suspect.
It is my understanding that knife throwing is an inconsistent art at best in terms of combat efficacy. Much wiser to hang on to your knife, supposedly. But in any event, I don't really want to hurt anyone with my knives. If I got into some kind of threatening situation, who knows? But I don't want to learn how to hurt people more effectively. That is knowledge I am better off without, I think. I just like having knives. I think they are fascinating objects.
For Natsuki, how many cupcakes can you make a day? With your current equipment. It doesn't have to be a precise number, just an amount you think you can do. I'm going to specify even more. The cupcakes I'm talking about are those that you made for the festival. I probably missed some specifications. I will try to be more specific in the future.
That depends. How much prep work am I allowed to do beforehand? Like buying groceries and stuff. I assume I can have all the ingredients I need already there. But yeah, if you gave me like 24 hours and I needed to make as many cupcakes as possible, with just all the baking equipment and stuff I have in my kitchen. I have 3 cupcake trays, 2 of them have room for 12 cupcakes and another one has room for 16. Putting them all in the oven at the same time would be the most efficient way, probably. Or maybe I cycle through so that while one is baking, I can be cleaning out another or making batter. But it takes me like 10 to 15 minutes to make enough batter to fill all of them, and then it takes maybe 25 minutes to bake them. Then the icing and toppings takes like a half hour to do right. So let's say, conservatively, an hour and 20 minutes to make 40 cupcakes if I'm working at maximum efficiency. That's like, how many a day?
720 exactly.
Okay, so yeah, 7 or 20. Only I'd probably get tired and go slower, plus I'd have to stop and clean my stuff occasionally. So let's round it down to 600 or so. I feel pretty confident about 600. Let's bring on the next part.
For Miss Ida, I don't know if I wrote that right. You did not! What are your general feelings about your world? I think there are no things like fake worlds. If you live in a world, that means it's real. I mean, I do not know if my world is in simulation, to be honest.
What for you, Miss Ida? Coming. Yes, I think that's probably the way you need to think about it. It really isn't that different from your normal life once you get used to it. But then, I don't have to have the simulated nature of it constantly rubbed in my face as Monica does. So yes, it's easy for me anyway.
For Sayori, how many cookies can you eat? Cookies can you eat? I do not need a precise amount, but if you do not know, maybe it's time to find out.
Like in a day? In one sitting? Ever?
Probably in one sitting, Bun.
I'm not sure. I guess it depends on what the cookie is. What a lot!
The most I've ever seen her eat in one sitting is a whole bag of Oreos. Well, I guess it's technically in a bag. And then she started in on another bag and got about a third of the way through that one. And she did that over the course of about an hour. So yeah, however many Oreos are in one of their big bags, times 1.33.
There are 12 each of the 3 little package lines, so 36 in a bag.
So 48 total.
And there you have it. Moving along.
For Monica, what is your favorite meal? Might be helpful in the future if you get into this reality, or I to yours.
Easy. My favorite meal is simple. Tuna nigiri. It's a simple enough dish, but to do it perfectly is difficult.
So I really appreciate when I find a place that does the phone. There really is nothing better.
For everyone, how are you all doing? Also, I hope you enjoyed my poem. I have not written poetry for months now. I just do not have the inspiration. And sometimes motivation is to write poetry. Also, if you haven't noticed, there's a new game that Team Salvato has released. Doki Doki Plus. Where am I going with it? I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure we're all doing great. Nothing weird or terrible is happening this year. So far, yes. So we're all doing great. And yeah, we knew about DDLC Plus. I think it sort of messed with our memories, so we remembered the stuff from the side stories suddenly. Yes, but for once, it was just nothing but memories I'm happy to have. So I was grateful for them.
Anyways, that's all I have to ask for today. Now let's try something different. Now you try asking me some questions, and I will try to answer them, as long as they are not personal. Would prefer an email with questions, but I can wait until you ask me them in the email session. But since we have to download the episodes, I am waiting for the complete Season 3 compilation of the episodes. Why? 100 kilobytes per second, and that probably the whole reason I don't want to have to download each episode for like an hour then play, although I probably will try to download these episodes because it might take a long time to come out. The series is also on YouTube. Alright, that's all I have today. See you all soon, and hope you will be happy. Rob out.